Hello, good day everyone. In this video we are going to discuss two major literary devices used in the poem The Fisherman Mourned by His Wife by Patrick Fernando. They are the stream of consciousness and symbolism. Okay. Fernando, as a poet who practiced to write about life in general, has used a common reality of life in Sri Lankan coastal areas. That is the conflict between the nature and man. His common thematic addressings like theme of love, change in nature of life, and death is also present in this poem. He utilizes a unique scene of fishermen's community to address above themes. He unveils a series of issues related to their community through a death of fisherman and the retrospection of his wife. He uses stream of consciousness to voice the wife, and through the symbols unique to the region with local coloring, but reveals some spoken and unspoken realities related to the lives of their community. Okay, first let us discuss what is the meaning of stream of consciousness and how effectively Fernando has used it to voice the retrospection of the wife of the fisherman. Stream of consciousness is a literary technique which was pioneered by Dorothy Richardson, Virginia Woolf, and James Joyce. Stream of consciousness is characterized by a flow of thoughts and images, which may not always appear to have a coherent structure or cohesion. The plot may weave in and out of time and place, carrying the reader through the lifespan of a character. For example, in the story Evelyn by James Joyce, the main character Evelyn is at the verge of taking one of her life-changing decisions, to be loved with Frank. In that present moment, she recaps all her life from the childhood up to the present moment. Her thoughts does not flow in a chronological or coherent manner. It is difficult for a reader to notice the time frame of her incidents as she narrates the story in fragments. This is the nature of memory. If memory is a stream, it flows through different directions and retaining only some important things which may have no connection to each other. However, through those fragments of memory, reader can generate the bigger picture, guessing and making hypotheses about this story. In the poem Fisherman Mourned by His Wife, Fernando uses the first-person narration of the wife in an interesting way. He uses narration parallel to the present. During her speech about her past life, she constantly comes back to the present. This reminds of the reader that they are reading an elegy, not merely a retrospection of a happy life. During the narration, she first reveals the happy moments of their marriage, and in the next moment she confesses how their marriage happened without their consent or agreement. And the very next moment she reveals the dreadful memories of their first wedding night, and subsequently how they excavated happiness as a family. In the narration of the wife, she reveals only some important moments in her life. At the end of the story, we find she has a bigger family than she said, and she had spent a very long period of good family life, which we cannot guess. And further, she does not reveal what happened to her husband and how it really happened. We only see the life story of them through the fragments of moments or fragments of memory of the fisherman's wife. However, it does not puzzle the reader as writer tactfully brings and binds the reader to the present moment, reminding this about the funeral of the fisherman, which is the reality. So we see how effectively and in a novel way the poet uses stream of consciousness to reveal several issues related to the fishermen and their life. Okay, our next task is to analyze the symbols in the poem. First, let us discuss what is a symbol. Symbol is an object that stands for itself and a great idea. It creates a direct and meaningful link between a specific object, scene, character or an action. It may be an abstract idea, value or way of life too. For example, the rose is considered as the symbol of love, for it has a deeper connection to a deep and perfect love in Greek mythology. In the poem The Fisherman Mourned by His Wife, we find some symbols related to the fishing community, and they too have local colorings which is very close to Sri Lankans. So to get the actual sense, a reader will have to understand about the symbols very well. Though we find only few symbols in the poem, they carry a greater message about the relationship between the fisherman and the wife, and their family, as well as the life of the wife before and after the death of fisherman. Okay, the first symbol we find is gull. Let's see how it appears in the poem. Gull is used to symbolize the behavior of the young man or the young fisherman who is full of youthful vigor and lust and heading towards the house quickly after his routing of fishing. Gull is used to show the intimacy and close relationship between the wife and the fisherman. Gulls are considered as very loyal and truthful lovers who mate only with one partner till their death. On the other hand, though gull is a seabird, it always lives and nestles near a shore. Using the gull, the poet may show the relationship and attachment of the fisherman towards his family and the home. The other thing should be to show the swiftness of his actions to go and see his fresh wife. As we all know, gull is a swift bird with quick movements. Therefore, the use of a symbol to attribute a lot of meaning to the poem is evident through these examples. The other interesting symbol in the poem is Flamboyant Tree. Flamboyant Tree is a seasonal flowering tree with orange-red flowers. During the flowering season, the tree is covered with beautiful flowers, and it is an enchanting sight to see. In Sri Lanka, the flowering season is May. Therefore, people call it by the name of the month too. Let's see how the flamboyant tree is used to highlight certain things before the death of the fisherman and after the death of the fisherman. In the first part of her flashback, explained that the flamboyant is torn apart by wind, and subsequently, in a positive sense, she says how new flower buds have appeared in the same tree. She compares these flower buds to a child born to them. The poet compares flamboyant tree to their family, which has seasonal happiness, which is controlled by natural forces. During the time the poem was written, there was no advanced technology involving the fishing industry. So they could go into the sea only when there is a favorable weather. When there is monsoon, they have to stay at home. She explains that it had been a time of happiness for a newly married two to build a new mutual relationship, but in the same time, financially it affected their family, which resulted tearing apart their life. Though how hard the lives are, people consider children as a fortune in their life. So new buds broke means symbolically new hopes and happiness came to their lives of misery. So through the use of one symbol, it could wrap up a series of issues related to fishing community in general. In the latter part of the poem, the wife tells the reader about the present state of their family as flamboyant tree is torn again, but this time with no buds. Okay, let's see the quotation first. It shows the graveness of her future life without a husband. Her life is at stake with children. By a single statement with the symbol, poet brings out a serious issue related to the lives of fishing community, especially women. Patrick Fernando has masterfully used these two symbols with local colors to cover up a broader theme of changing nature of human lives. So we hope you had a clear understanding of the use of two literary devices, stream of consciousness and symbolism in the poem. You can read the blog post related to this in our blog. If you have any questions, you can comment below.